Hi, this is Ilma Art Studios photograph for today. A beautiful bike trail in Earl Road Provincial Park here in Ontario. Hi, thanks for watching. I'd like to share today Psalm 22 verse 10. It says, I was thrust into your arms at my birth. You have been my God from the moment I was born. Here's my poem. Since birth, you claimed me as your child from the day I was born. You walked me through life, and now I'm grown. You have been my one true God since birth. You allowed me to experience both pain and mirth. Each time I try to do things on my own, I get in trouble. You are always there to pull me out of the rubble. Thank you for claiming me to be your beloved daughter. I am grateful that you who live inside of me is greater. Here's my essay. One of my favorite verses is in Psalm 139, verse 13, which says, For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. And also Jeremiah 1:15, which says, I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. Before you were born, I set you apart and appointed you as my prophet to the nations. What an amazing God He is, that He already planned our lives even before we were born. Before you were born, I set you apart and appointed you as my prophet, is His words to Jeremiah. But I think that's the same word that He uses to all of us. We're supposed to be evangelizing and proclaiming His word. We're all ministers of the word if we are believers of God. So He claims us as His children. It was these two verses that actually busted all the enemy's lies about my true identity. It was the Bible tells us that God has claimed us as His own from the time we were born. He predestined us to be His children. Prayer. Lord, thank you for claiming me as your child. Reflection. Do people see you as God's true child? Before I became born again, that is, I was very religious. But even before I became born again, I think God has already lived in my heart since I was 7 years old. Because during those very young years of my life, I had nowhere else to go, but always I felt somebody was always with me, inside me, telling me how to cope with whatever I'm going through and what to do and to be strong. Yes, I think people see me as a true child of God. I remember I was in my 20s. My son was just born. I had him when I was in my 27. So he's probably 2 years old. I had a neighbor who was a professor in a big university. And every time I talk to him, I don't know, like, but I always talk about God, about my faith, about what makes me strong. And one day, I think we've been neighbors for over 2 or 3 years, and suddenly he just said one day, Ilma, do you realize that every time I talk to you, there's not a time that you don't talk about God? Always the word God and His name always comes out of your mouth. And I didn't even realize that, but so in other words, it's the Spirit that makes me talk about God all the time. Because He has chosen me since I was born. I didn't even know, because I was not born out of Christian family. I was born with a family who believes in religion and do all kinds of ritualistic activities in the religion, in the religious sect. So I did not. I can only give credit to the Holy Spirit, because I'm sure it is Him who taught me all the things that I know even before I started reading the Bible. Even I was so shocked when I read the Bible that I already knew quite a lot of the things that I was reading for the first time. So it is God who planted all these things in my heart, in my mind, in my spirit. So yes, I think that people see me as a true child of God, because of all the things that I underwent as a child. I have this heart, compassionate heart, especially for people who are in pain, who are suffering, and all those things. So thanks for watching, and I hope you check my website at ilmaarts.com for more artworks and photographs. Have a blessed day. I love you, and God loves you too.